Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to AUSF1 Action Tier 3 at Coda. Scotty here with you in the comms box. Very late call up for comms, so as you can see, we've only got 6 minutes left to go in the session. So definitely want to have a stream up for the Tier 3 boys. We've got 15 drivers in, and I believe in the Tier 3 chat we may have some wet to dry to wet weather potentially. So going to be a fascinating bit of action this evening as we see Power Aussie go to the top of the timings on a 132.261. Just let us know if there's any sort of sounds after a bit of width, obviously very late loading in, so but should be good to go. But yeah, interesting track, Coda. Interesting races that we saw Monday night in Tier 1, Tier 2 as well last night. Tier 1, obviously, the rain came towards the end. It was looking very close to Nat Hammer to pull off a miracle win. Unfortunately, not to be, still ending up a top 5 for Nat. But yeah, tricky conditions, and myself driving on Monday night. Yeah, if there's a bit of wet weather, hopefully the guys are prepared. Might have just made it interesting in terms of setups. If they have gone a little bit more on the downforce, but you do run quite high with downforce around here anyway. As we see Aussie on the ground, so on the grass, sorry. Let's look at the detail. So Parallel Aussie, big margin, 7/10 over Jerobot, currently in P2, but that's been eclipsed. Oh, Bridges is sitting in the pit lane, so that's definitely not correct. T8 goes a 132.9. Donmore currently on a lap, 2/10 up on their lap time. As we reload, I'm talking to myself with something else, but we go through the triple right-hander. And now the left-hander. Final corner now. Short run to the line, a bit of DRS. Can Donwall crack the 32s? Not quite, but finds 3/10, jumps inside the top 5. As I will get the track details up for myself, so I know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. As Bridgie still in the pit lane. Yep, so unfortunately we won't be able to go on Bridgie. T8 Donwall, Battlecat, how is the Aston Martin driver going? As we head through the S's in the first sector on this game. Pretty much nearly flat out amount of downforce, so it's this corner up here, very tricky. You either lose the back end as you come over the hill, or you just push a little bit too much and you end up going wide. So something the guys are going to have to be careful for, and not picking up warnings later on in the race. Battlecat down the long back straight as well. This is going to be your one of your main overtaking opportunities into the tight left-hander hairpin of turn 12. And then obviously you've got to get to the left-hand side to make the right-hander of 13, the little kink of 14. Then it goes straight to the very tight left-hander of 15. That nicely did the Battlecat. And now you've got the triple right hand to 16, 17 and 18 pretty much flat out. But if there's weather, may need to be a slight lift in the race. Turn 19, got to be careful you don't invalidate on the right hand side. And then the last corner, turn 20, same thing, not to go too wide, try to carry too much speed. Battlecat did a very nice lap, 32.8. Goes onto the front row. 2 minutes 11 left on the clock, so he's got the fuel. Battlecat can try and go again. He tends to go out a little bit early and potentially does 2 flying laps just in case he makes a mistake on the earlier run. The other Aston Martin Bevo, I think, on a bit of a cool down lap down the racer, he's invalidated at some point during the lap. So, minute 45. So if you're not heading out of the pits now, gonna be somewhat cutting it close to actually getting to the start finish line. So it looks like we have got a few that will remain in pit lane for our final runs in qualifying. As Donmore has finished, so that lap of a 33 flat Currently on the 3rd row of the grid. So Aussie getting out of the way on an outlap. Battle Cat going slow. Not sure if he'll have enough time to do another lap. Jerobot is on their last flyer. As we come up, this is the tricky corner of turns 9, Little Kinker 10. Obviously very important to get this corner right. Turn 11. Otherwise you'll lose time all the way down this straight. DRS activated long way down. Kinker 12. So we've seen plenty of great side-by-side action both in real life and in-game around here, this part of the track. And we've definitely seen some audacious sends down the inside as well at 15. So something to keep an eye out for in the race as well. Jerobot, 2 corners left, keeps it valid. Final corner now for the Sauber driver. Can they find themselves on the front row? They can. They found the 6/10, and they're just short from Aussie by a 1/10 of a second. So Aussie's on their final flying lap now. I think we've got the Ferrari of Deadly Fuller coming across the line now. Checkered flag is out. Deadly Fuller goes to the 2nd row. The McLaren behind. A-Dog stays 11th. So he's going to be the Aston Martin next on a flyer. That's Bevo up by 3/10. Could push them about 7th. 8th. But if you find it 3/10, Domwall could be taken as well. Bevo around the final corner. He does go P8, 33.1. Then we got the RB of Nudes rounding. Oh, that was very close to invalidating, but somehow kept a tyre width in track limits. And thankfully he does. Finds half a second, goes inside the top 8. King Dogger crosses the line, goes P6. You got the Alpine cards currently last, but up by half a second. Gonna need more time to get off that back row. Finds 1.1. He does jump poorly, 33.8. So Aussie. Oh, that's definitely not Aussie. We got the Merc of T8 is invalidated. What about the Aston Martin? Battlecat is in as well, so that should be it. Jerobot, I don't think's on the time. No, he's not. So this is going to be session done, and it's going to be Aussie. He claims pole position, 32.261, a 10th ahead of Jerobot, who clears Bridgie by a couple of tenths as well. But Ferrari holding the 2nd row. Bridgie and Deadly Fuller, great time, great pace from the both Ferraris. So looking forward to see what they can do. Battlecat in P5, King Dogger in P6, Tat, Donmore, Nudes, and Bevo rounding out our top 10. Cashmash, good to see you. Yeah, I heard Tier 2 last night was an interesting race. I haven't looked too much into the Tier 2 chat, but yeah, all I know is it sounded a bit chaotic. So hopefully it's a little less for these guys. As we'll see our results on screen. As I said before, Aussie picking up pole this evening in Tier 3. Jerobot, Bridgie, Deadly Fuller, Battlecat, King Dogger, T8, Donmore, Nudes, Bevo, your top 10. Then you got Paul and Hill, Dan the Racer, A-Dog, Cuds in 14th, and F1 Original Paulie rounds out our grid of 15. So 1.9 covering the entire field, close up front. As I said, if there's rain, that may make a little bit of a difference with the pace of a few of these guys. Overcast at the moment. Hopefully I can let you guys know in terms of when the forecast will happen. That I can sort of have a bit of an idea when the rain's coming. But it should be a very interesting 29 laps around this 5.513 kilometre circuit. As we know, 2 DRS zones down that long back straight, and then obviously the start finish straight as well. So turn 1 and turn 12 are your sort of biggest opportunities for a move. Obviously, we know sector 1 very tight, same as sector 3. So yeah, definitely passing start of the lap and in the middle of the lap. But penalties could be an issue as well, especially through the S section in the first sector, obviously coming up the hill of turn 9 and 10 before the back straight, and then obviously the final couple of corners as well. Very easy to pick up a couple of warnings or penalties as well. As we're just waiting for the last bit of setups. As we do have the lights finally on, we've got all 5 out and we're underway, and Jerobot seemed to get the bit of the better launch as we make our way uphill to the tight turn number 1. Jerobot does take the lead inside line, and Aussie might be in danger of losing another spot, and Bridgie will have the line into the S section. So Aussie's down a couple as we've all made it through the first corner safely. Aussie will look like he cut the corner just a little bit, as we'll see what tyres everybody is on. Mediums for most of the grid. Down the race is on the soft compounded tyre. F1 Original Paulie has gone the opposite and gone the hard. As we make our way down to turn 11 for the first time. Single file. It doesn't look like anyone's made a move there. So all single file as Jerobot is leading the train. Do we see any moves going into turn 12? McLaren just weaving, maybe just trying to put off Bridgie in front. As all the guys just settling in. Long race as A-Dog gets past Cuds. Stands rejoin the session as Battle Cat Deli Fuller going side by side through 15. Deli Fuller holding that position as Paul Adels unfortunately left the session. Try and get Paulie back in as Cuds and Paulie, obviously his AI car. Guys, just got to be careful not to get taken out by it. Oh, as F1 Original Paulie nearly bins it into the wall. Thankfully saves it. Good save. Falls back behind Nudes. Hard tyres probably not giving him as much grip as the guys around. So he's hoping for a little bit of weather later on. As lap 2, Jerobot got a 0.7 lead. DRS enabled this lap. Nice increasing by a couple of tenths before we get to the detection point, which is just after this turn 10 kink, and it's not going to be enough. Bridgie did a good job managing that gap. So DRS for the Ferrari as we're still all single file. As we come onto the back straight, Paulie's rejoined us. So on board with the Ferrari as we do see the rain, so that hasn't taken long. So does Bridgie want to have a bit of a move? No, he doesn't. Holds back as we head through turns 13 and 14. So who is the first one to blink to go on an intermediate tyre? Bridgie. Jerobot seems to be struggling in these conditions. Bridgie wants to maybe have a bit of a chance to take the race lead. These guys must, I reckon, probably already struggling. Jerobot's going to actually pull the pin very early. Going to change onto the intermediate tyres. He's not the only one, but a lot of people stayed out. So Jerobot and T8, I believe, A-Dog and Cuds, they've come in. Have they gone slightly too early? As we'll find out, we'll see how the top 3 get on in terms of the conditions. Hopefully everyone's changed onto an intermediate tyre. Yes, they have, thankfully. So all the guys changing, making sure they change it on the UI. So Bridgie, Aussie, Deli Fuller, Battle Cat, your top 4. King Dogger Just about losing 1 second. May not get DRS, but I'm waiting for that DRS to be disabled. Oh, and that's who's that? It's gone super wide. Oh, Delhi Fuller missing his braking point. Couple of guys sliding through turn 11 as well. So maybe this rain now just starting to be heavy enough that the Inters were the best callers. Bridgie trying to hold the race lead. This light contact between the McLaren of Aussie front to rear as DRS is now disabled. So that's indication everybody should be coming in for an intermediate tyre. And with that call, Jerobot, you feel like should have the best chance of retaking the race lead. That half lap, I reckon, would have done him well. As you can see, the Ferrari sliding through turn 16 and 17. Got to be super careful, real slow through the second last corner. Hopefully everyone makes it through this tight coated pit lane. Thankfully no one hitting the wall so far, as King Dogger picks up a 3-second time penalty. Obviously went wide. No, King Dogger stays out. I don't know if that was the right call. Dan the Racer speeds in pit lane, so that's called a couple of guys out. Oh, we got the McLaren around. A-Dogs had a moment at the triple right-hander. No damage to speak of, so he'll go again. Oh, as King Dogger can barely keep it on the road. That was the wrong call to stay out, and he's the lone Williams tonight, so it's not like that he had any traffic for a teammate to worry about. So unless he feels like this rain's going to stop, which I highly doubt. The forecast said only 67%. Problem is, he's got no grip. He's just losing all that time, even if it does stop raining in 5 minutes. Definitely not the right call. As you can see, really struggling. He's just losing a ton of time. We'll follow Jerobot. As you can see, so much more grip on the intermediate tyres. King Dog could barely get any traction out of turn 11. And you can see that gap was about 8 seconds. It's now down to 1.7. So this should be a very easy move for Jerobot down potentially the inside of 12. If not, he'll get the traction out of the corner and get it at 13. That's right on board. Yeah, King Dog couldn't even make the corner. And I reckon he still probably broke about 20 metres or about 50 metres earlier. As Jerobot retakes the race lead, King Dogger tried staying out. Not the right call. He tried to save 2 pit stops. Oh, and there's nearly contact between him and T8. T8's just got to be careful. Keep the wider line, and he does just that. So T8 up inside the top 3. So I think T8 was one of the bigger movers, jumping a couple of spots. Oh, as T8's even getting a little bit out of shape at 19. King Dogger's going to stay out once again. Clearly this rain is meant to stop for the guys. But yeah, I don't quite think this is the right call. Unfortunately for the Williams driver, he's down to 6 now. So with the rain, usually the gaps just increase just a little bit. Different skills with people in the wet. As you see the Ferrari having to sort of nearly take avoiding action. The Williams is off. Thankfully, doesn't hit the wall. Has to cut the corner. Yeah, I can see what King Dogger was doing if this rain's stopping very shortly. Forecast, it says it's meant to reduce quite quickly, but yeah, he just needed to take didn't need to take the gamble. Come in like everyone else, and then just be on the right tyre at the right time. His gap off the lead is already 19 seconds, so I don't know, he's probably got to keep it out now if the rain does stop, but needs a safety car to bring him back into it, unfortunately, for the Williams driver. Meanwhile, Jerobot, 2.9 second lead over Bridgie. T8, Battle Cat, your top 4. So, Jerobot made that call to perfection. Bridgie lost a little bit of time, but not too much. T8 holding on to P3. Aussie and Battlecat getting close together. So we'll see how Battlecat goes. Obviously, medium traction this season in Oz, so doesn't have the full. So I reckon these weather conditions he'd probably be struggling with. Probably not what he would want. Probably would rather a dry race. Battlecat doing not too bad. I think it's going to be when rather than if that Aussie might be able to make his way through. I say that Battlecat pulls 3 seconds on him in 2 laps. Watch. But just need to hang it in there. Safety, you can see a safety car here, sort of around turn 8, turn 9. If someone has it off, there is a wall that people can hit. Or out of the second last corner, you can sort of come back into the inside wall as Paul and L gets past the RB for P11. So top 15 in the race. King Dog has had to abandon the medium tyres. He's gone intermediates, but he's half a lap behind now off the race lead. Obviously not the right call. Definitely needs a safety car to bring them back in. But points down to 15, so everyone's scoring points. Hopefully I don't see any pit and quits. So Jerabot holding that lead. It's fluctuating just a little bit. 2.9, 2.2. But Jerabot holding it comfortably. Bridgie in P2, T8, sort of the gaps hovering around the 2 seconds apiece. So this is sort of our, I was going to say, that's sort of our closest battle. F1 Original Paulie gets past Nudes in 13th, up to 12th now. So Paulie coming from the back of the grid. We'll look at our penalties. So Delifula with a 3 second. As we see side by side, Domore and Cuds. Domore has the outside line at the triple right-hander. Nearly goes off track, but he gets the job done. But Cuds, better exit. He's going to send the move down the inside. But it will be narrow, so watch Bevo getting a... Oh, I thought Bevo was going to be a little bit closer to the back of the Alpine. Not quite. As we'll run up the hill. So Domore did claim that place, P8. So about 8 seconds behind Dan the Racer, who has that 10-second penalty speeding in pit lane. I did want the position changes. So Dan up 5, Cuts up 5, T8 up 4. So they're your biggest movers. Aussie, pole man down to 5th. King Dog obviously took the risk, didn't work out. Currently running last of the runners. So Aussie right on the back of the Aston Martin of Battlecat. Battlecat's just sliding, and I know for myself, I'm one that easily wear intermediates out. So depending on how long this rain is meant to last for, which is meant to go, we'll see how long these inters hold on. You can even see guys just sliding around. Gap out the front's dropped by a second. It is now just over a second. So Bridgie, liking these conditions, T8's dropped about 3 seconds as well. So Bridgie, liking these wet weather conditions, was about a second quicker than Jerabot. T8 was probably the one that had the poorest lap of the top 5. He lost about 8 tenths to the Battlecat behind. So whether T8 made a mistake or not, he's the one that's had the moment. As you can see, tyre wear will be very similar amongst the group in terms of age. We'll go back to the battle now for the top 2. As Bridgie closed in another couple of tenths on this lap. So Bridgie liking these wet weather conditions. As you can see, Jerabot just losing the rear end, trying to put the power down off the exit. Oh, yellow flag. Tats had a moment. He's the one that's struggling in these conditions. As you see in the background, Dan and Deli Fuller battling off of 11 as well. Dan the Racer holding P6. T8, he's struggling. rain is still falling, but barely. I think we're going to get close to that crossover point very shortly to put dryers back on. Lap 8 of 28, so you'd imagine people will go hards to the end. Medium's a tough tyre to take 20 laps, so should see everybody onto the hard compounder tyre. So we've got a couple of nice battles looking at Jerabot. Oh, Jerabot again, he's making the call early. He's blinked first both times. He will come into the pit lane. Hopefully the weather is good enough for him. We haven't seen the DRS be re-enabled yet. T8's going to do the same as Aussie. Aussie's going to join the guys who boxed early. So everybody coming in, hard compounder tyres going on to Jerabot, and that should be the tyre for every other driver as they all do that. So Bridgie and the Battle Cat, they've gone a lap longer. We haven't seen DRS, but is the track condition still getting there? I have a feeling people were just overheating their inters, so they blinked early. We did have a yellow flag at some point. Oh, Deliflo goes super wide up from turn 1. So not sure what the yellow flag is for. Maybe Cuds? No, he's on the hard, so... How's Jerabot doing? How's his grip? Oh, the grip's not there. They've jumped too early because you can see the intermediate runners, F1 Original Paulie and Bevo, just fly straight past this Auber. I thought it might have been slightly too early, and it definitely is. They've got no grip on the white wall tyres. So this is an absolute gift for everybody that stayed out. Bridgie and Battlecat will now be your top two. Donmore as well might find himself on a podium position, because the guy Jerabot's already 30 seconds behind. So they made the right call. Jerabot, the first time worked for him, the second time didn't. T8's hit the wall as well because he's got front wing damage according to my data. Right hand side end plate's gone. It's not just the end plate, it's the entire right side part of his wing as he goes deep as well. So clearly track conditions not there yet. Bridgie and Battlecat go around once again. I don't know if they're cheekily listening to the stream, but that would have absolutely seen. Donmore's now going to take the risk. He's got 5 seconds to the driver behind, but is it still too early? I'm just waiting for Jerabot to start setting some quick times. But he still looks slow out of the final corner. As you can see, 49 seconds off his personal best. So Jerabot, does he come out ahead of Donmore? He does, but look how much time he's lost. How's Donmore going? You can see him sliding, but the track condition might be slightly better. Yellow flag. We've got T8 out of the final corner. So T8 hoping for a safety car. Give him his front wing back. Oh, as Aussie having a big slide. As that's A-Dog half spinning. So that weather's come and gone. So Bridgie is your race lead. 8 seconds to the Battle Cat. So Bridgie's actually has increased the gap to Battle Cat. F1 Original Paulie currently holding off Bevo, and he's nearly got that pit stop gap to Jerabot and P6. So watch for Paulie, Bevo. Nude is sort of in this as well, as Paul and L's gotten past Jerabot. So clearly the Inter's still the better tyre. DRS still not enabled. So top 6. Oh no, Paulie's gone back onto an intermediate tyre. I think he's accidentally forgot to change. So he's gonna have to do another pit stop, Paulie. So that's unfortunately not worked out for the Haas driver. So Paulie obviously wanted to go hards, maybe forgot to change the setting. As Nuge is now coming in on the intermediate tyre. I want to see what Jerabot's last lap is going to be and how slow he is. As Nudes and Paulie, yeah, so Paulie that was a simple mistake, unfortunately. So Bridges' last lap was a 147.401, and you can see Jerabot's time was a 159.154. So much time that he's lost. Oh, as you've got Nudes, I think, spun out of the pit lane and has front wing damage to the left-hand side. So I think that's what happened to potentially Cards as he spins into the Red Bull Ferrari of Deli Fuller, and Deli Fuller's now got front wing damage to the right-hand side. Clearly just no grip from Nudes with the wing damage. Stone cold hard compounded tyres, and unfortunately Deli Fuller in the wrong place at the wrong time. T8 goes to the medium tyre. And with the front wing change, might need to go to the mediums to give themselves better grip. At the moment, the intermediates better tyre. All these guys that have stayed out absolutely have nailed this strategy, because you can see Jerabot's 24 seconds behind Bevo and Paulie. So at the moment, he's looking at P5 without a safety car. It's always, oh sorry, that's T8 that's getting out of the way. So we'll see Tear on the medium tyre. We'll see if he can sort of hang on to Bridgie. He'll get his lap back when Bridgie boxes, but he's got to stay within the pit stop window to actually get his lap back. As Bridgie 46.9 the last lap. DRS is now enabled, so you should see the top four in. Jerabot's last lap. Oh, Jerabot hasn't actually quite crossed the line yet, so we'll see what that lap will be. Bridgie 46.9 versus Jerabot's 48.8, so still 2 seconds off, but that should easily swing towards the hard runners, the drive runners, as King Dogger comes back in. So King Dog will actually make a little bit of ground because he sat on the Inters for so long, so he'll gain a couple of positions from this, and he'll be on some fresh hard compounded tyres. So just waiting for our top two now. Battle Cats closed that gap out front to by a couple of seconds, 6.3, as King Dogger crossed the pit lane, exit white line, 10-second penalty. So clearly, guys, just gonna have to be careful coming off the exit of pit lane. Seen a couple of people hit the wall coming out, and obviously King Dogger's had another moment and actually crossed that line. So Bridgie, Battle Cat, clearly both of those guys in. They'll go on to a hard compounded tyre, you'd imagine. As with a yellow flag, that is Nudes. It's had a moment at turn 1. Thankfully kept it off the wall. T8's there as well. So I just want to stick on board with Bridgie. Hopefully he doesn't have the moment out of the final, coming out of pit lane. He was most certainly careful through there, but these hard compounded tyres might take a little bit to warm up. As Battle Cat, he's gone different. He's gone the medium compounded tyres. Paulie and Bevo. So Paulie stayed out on the intermediate tyre. Bevo has come in. So Paulie right on board. But surely the dry tyre should be better at this point. Watch the first sector. Paulie lost 1.2 seconds. Paulie's staying with him. He'll get a bit of DRS. But Paulie, I think, he's got 20 seconds to Bevo. Bevo's going to try and undercut the Red Bull driver. So Paulie, if he wants a podium, he's got to come in this lap. He'll get a bit of DRS that will help. Yes, he does. Rear wing is open. So Battle Cat on those medium compounded tyres. He'll close up to Bridgie. Problem is, will those mediums last? So Deli Fuller, King Dogger, 3 second time penalties apiece. They're your only penalties. So I think it was Dan that picked up the 10 second for speeding in pit lane. So he's obviously served that as he's come back onto the hard compounded tyres. Yes, Paulie just now struggling. He lost about 7/10 in that middle part of the lap. So should be in this lap. Battle Cat, he's closed about 1 second to Bridgie. So clearly the medium tyre's better on this circuit at the moment. As we've got a yellow flag in the middle. That might have been getting out of the way potentially. As last lap, Battle Cat was 2 seconds quicker than our race leader. Paulie, he's gone onto the mediums as well. He's looking to be quite quick as well. As you got Bevo and Paulie, a race. I was going to say a race, but I think Paulie's cleared him easily. So whether Bevo might have been the one that had the issue, but he's got Jerabot right behind him. Jerabot was looking on for a race win in the opening couple of laps. Made the right call to jump on the inters, but he went way too early to jump on back onto the hards. And unfortunately, he's a pit stop behind our race leader. As Paulie, he's gone the medium tyres. He's got 3 seconds behind. Paulie's got half race distance left, 14 laps to try and hold on to that podium. Battle Cat closed another couple of tenths as Aussie and Donmore. No, Donmore's had a moment off track, so it allows Aussie through. Still running inside the top 7. As Donmore's actually picked up damage as well. You can see the left side end plate gone from the RB as the other RB picks up a 3-second time penalty. Currently running 15th and last. I don't believe anyone is a lap down yet. Nuge is close. He's got that start-finish straight as a gap. So he's not going to want to have another incident. Otherwise, he'll find himself lapped. So half race distance. Bridgie 1.6. Battlecat is flying on those medium compounder tyres. Might have made the right call, but again, he's going to make them to the end. Bevo's actually closed up quite quick to Paulie as well. So Bevo, so we've got a battle for the lead, battle for P3. Jerabot and Aussie aren't too far behind this battle for P3 as well. So Paulie's got a tough ass to keep the guys behind. So it's going to be Bevo first. Have a think about a move. He will get a bit of DRS this lap. You can see him all. That's gonna be. He managed to pull it up. I thought he was gonna go deep, but that's really hurt his exit. So he'll get DRS. You can see the rear wing open, but no chance of a move now at turn 12. So just has to set it up a little bit better next lap. I have a feeling this move's going to be done sooner rather than later. Jerabot closed another couple of tenths, so he's right in the hunt for P3. So we're going to potentially see a four-way fight for P3. Fastest lap at the moment goes to Jerabot, 1:37.148. So they're picking up the fastest lap point at the moment. As Paulie sets his personal best lap, so does Bevo, as the track conditions come back to the drivers as more rubber gets laid down. So 1.5 at the front. At the moment this gap is 6 tenths. So Bevo just needs to line it up a little bit better as we make our way through the S section. Into the first sector, the left-hander 7, switching it back to the right-hander of 8, using a lot of the curb. Turn 9, easily able to invalidate, but keeps it within track limits. As he opened up the steering, this is a better exit from the Aston Martin driver. Very close, bit of DRS. So should be a fairly easy move. Paulie, does he cover the inside line? He sort of covers a little bit of the middle. That's a simple move from Bevo. And at the moment, you got Aston Martin 2 and 3, a double podium. If the results stay as they are. Battlecat fastest lap, 36.9. As you got Paulie getting past Deadly Fuller, who's still carrying that front wing damage. So right side end plate gone, you can see. So he'd definitely be struggling, especially in the first sector. As Paulie running in P8. So Paulie, he's now going to be the one to get DRS's Bevo, with help of DRS, able to get the fastest lap. Paulie doesn't decide to go for a move down the inside at 1. Just needs to hold on to get to the long back straight to potentially have another go to get that position back. Gerald hasn't quite closed up. I thought he'd sort of be right on the back of these guys, but he sort of hasn't been there. Maybe he's taken too much life out of those hards, being that he went on them 4 laps early, and he was probably sliding them as well, so probably wouldn't have done the tyres any good. So Paulie, he gets a nice exit out of the final corner, and it's just starting to brighten up just a little bit for these guys. So we will see a bit of sun before the end of the race, as the Aston Martin Bevo goes completely to the left-hand side of the track, but doesn't need to worry about that because Paulie gets the job done well before the braking zone. As Bridgie, our race leader, sets the fastest lap, he's having to just push a little bit more to keep Battle Cat behind. It's going to be a battle from the top 2. These guys are a pit stop behind, and unless we see a safety car, that's going to remain like it. Aussie's actually passed Jerobot while we're sort of watching that battle for P3. So Jerobot clearly doesn't have the pace that we saw in the opening couple of laps. So definitely doesn't have any damage. So just not liking these hard compounded tyres. As we get more grip on the track as Paulie holds on. Bevo now do the exact same thing and try and have a go on the back straight. They're going to have to now watch out for Aussie. Started on pole. Could still net himself a podium. Gerald trying to hang on in there. Dunmore. Bit ways back. P7. Might have his fellow American coming up towards him towards the end of the race. 4.7 seconds back is Paulie. Delhi Fuller and Dan the Racer currently filling our top 10 as we see the 4-car train for P3. So Paulie, he's leading this pack, but it's going to be a simple move for Bevo. DRS down this long straight. He will retake P3. And just remember, these medium tyres on Paulie's car will go earlier than the hards. So he sort of needs to get past and sort of break away, but Bevo's doing plenty to keep himself well in the hunt. If you're right on board with the Red Bull, you can see the Aston Martin in front of him. Oh, that was wide from Bevo. Would have cost him about a 10th. So Paulie will just get DRS to help him down this start-finish straight to keep the gap manageable through the first sector to give him a chance to get the position back down the back straight. So we're getting close to the end. We've got 10 laps remaining in our final race of round 7. So at Coda. So as we watch the battle for P3, battle for P1 has just stabled a little bit. Battle Cat's closed in a little bit. Gap was 2.6 back now to 2 seconds. Battle Cat just can't quite close into that DRS range. And Bridgie's doing a very nice job just keeping that gap there. As we wrap up tonight at Coda, next week, round 8, we find ourselves in Japan at Suzuka, obviously matching the real life GP. So it'd be very interesting to see how the drivers go around there. Fan favourite for a few of the drivers is Suzuka. So looking forward to see what action that we can provide. Tough track as well. As we see Bevo has broken Aussie, who's gotten past Paulie. So P5, Paulie just unfortunately doesn't quite have the pace to match with the guys. Jerobot, surprisingly, he can't keep up as well. 2.7 now behind. He's really dropped back. It's got to be Aussie and Bevo. Bevo's going to have 4-lap younger tyres. Will that help in the end? Oh, that was a little bit sketchy through the final part of the S's. So, Aussie's on the hunt. So he'll get a bit of DRS this lap. 0.8 of a second through the detection point. So if we can get a good exit from here, potentially a go this lap. Wasn't too bad. It'll actually be close to turn 11. Bevo just covers a little bit, but as you can see, Aussie probably didn't really use any battery there. So we'll sit behind for another lap. Got plenty of laps left to do this, does Aussie. Does he want to sit back behind for 6 laps and then have a crack on the final lap? Do you want to be the car leading, or do you want to be the car behind? Battle Cat's dropped back a little bit as well. So again, fluctuating between the 2 and 3 seconds up front. This is sort of our closest fight until you get to Deadly Fuller and King Dogger. Fighting for P9 and 10, both of them having penalties. Well, King Dogger's actually, that's right, he's got the 10-second penalty. So at the moment, he's dropping a couple of spots. Cuds is about 13 seconds behind as Don Moore picks up a 3-second time penalty. Thought it could have been the battle of the Americans towards the end. And Paulie was catching him at a rate of knots. Now Paulie doesn't really need to do this on track if he keeps it penalty free. Aussie still stuck behind Bevo. We'll see if he goes again this lap. Again, not quite close enough. He's about that second off. He'll get, I think he got DRS. Yes, he did. But Bevo, he's got good traction out of that corner. Obviously, very important to do. As we fly through, as T8 picks up a penalty. So I think Nudes is the only one lapped. He is. T8 about 10-15 seconds before Bridgie catches up to him. So T8 should be fine on the lead lap. No safety cars this race, which has been good. As we see King Dogger gets past Deadly Fuller. So up inside the top 9. Again, the race is closing into the pair as well. Paulie's just about on the back of Donmore. Jerobot still hasn't quite found the pace. Paulie, unfortunately, has dropped off Bevo and Aussie. But Jerobot hasn't sort of closed in, unfortunately, for himself. Just hasn't had the pace that we saw in Australia. So, a little bit unfortunate for Jerobot. Just hasn't quite had the pace in this dry stint. And obviously just hurting with the early pit stop. As Aussie is looking closer now, half a second. But he needs to get the exit out of the corner. Goes a little bit deep. Bevo was alright, but this is a lot closer for Aussie. So is this a chance the McLaren driver will get onto the podium placings? He does do it. Bevo goes to the middle of the track. I think they knew that it was inevitable. That move is done. Problem is, can Aussie hold it? Actually, Bevo didn't actually have the best turn 12 because Aussie's nearly got the 1 second gap already. So Aussie, does he only need the 1 lap to not only overtake but actually break the gap? It's 8/10. Bevo's got any ERS. He's going to need to use it to make sure that he keeps within 1 second. Gotta also be careful. Not sure what the warnings are like, but I have a feeling a couple of drivers will probably be close to a 3 second penalty. So that could really muck up your race if you pick one up. You get DRS as we got the RB of Nudes coming in for a set of soft compounder tyres to try and pitch fastest lap. Haven't really seen all yellow flag. Oh, that's just Nudes getting out of the way. Allowing Paulie and Jerobot through. Back up the front, we haven't seen much Bridgie Battle Cat. Battle Cat, I think, might just be struggling with his medium tyres. That gap's blown out to 3.5 seconds. So I think Bridgie should be right. As long as we remain green. Should be right. Home and hose, as long as he doesn't pick up a penalty. Aussie. Oh, did Aussie brake? No, Aussie didn't brake. Bevo did a good job holding it on in the first sector. Oh, yellow flag. You've got Aussie and A-Dog. So A-Dog's coming into the box. So should be putting on a fresh set of soft compounder tyres. Did he have damage? Can't tell because he's not sharing. That's all right. Oh, Battle Cat comes in. Honestly, he can probably do this. He's got a pit stop ahead. So this could guarantee him fastest lap. So he should come out just ahead of Aussie. So probably a good call. Problem is if Bridgie makes a mistake or has a slight spin, then Battle Cat is sort of screwed. Or screwed himself a little bit. But I think that you could sort of tell those mediums are really starting to drop off. Aussie's just coming out of the final corner now. So Battle Cat, those softs will warm up very quickly. So he'll still have about a 7-second gap to the two behind. I think Aussie's more so looking in his rearview mirror than what he is looking in front. So margin's going to really be not really going to tell the whole story with Bridgie winning by potentially 23 seconds, 20 seconds. Bridgie, he made the right calls at the right time. He didn't be trigger happy jumping back onto the dries. Him and Battle Cat has worked out quite nicely for them. It's worked out nicely for Bevo too. Problem is, can he get back into that third place, pick up that podium, and have an Aston Martin's 2 and 3 DRS? Question is Bevo having to use battery to just keep within a second, and will he be able to actually have a lunge? Aussie has got 4-lap older compounder tyres. Will they provide a bit of a challenge at the end? So Bridgie starts lap 25 of 28. We've got 4 racing laps left. He's got a 20-second lead over Battle Cat. Battle Cat absolutely flying. Taking about 2 seconds out of this lap already. So we won't see the quick lap this lap. So it'll be the next lap. So watch Battle Cat set an absolute flyer of a flying lap. At the moment, Bridgie's holding that on a 35.6, but that's going to be well gone shortly. Bevo holding DRS. Only battle on track at the moment that's within a second. Paulie got past Dom Moore while we were watching this battle as well, and it's increased his gap by 2 seconds. Obviously, the 3 behind him have penalties, so Paulie's looking good for P7. Lone Haas tonight. Anyway, 6/10. Is he looking to just maybe hang on, wait till the final lap? Problem is, you have a moment in that first sector on the final lap, you lose your chance. So he's close. And I think Bevo will take the move. Aussie doesn't really try and fight the position. So Bevo up inside the top 3 once again. He's got 3.5 laps to hold. And if anything happens between these two, Paulie could be on the hunt. Problem is his medium tyre would be pretty much the same as Battle Cat's and really struggling because Jerobot obviously right on the back now. That gap was 3 seconds. That's now within a second. So Jerobot probably going to take P5 back just with the way those medium tyres are falling off. And Battle Cat, as we thought, fastest lap by a country mile, 1.3 seconds quicker than anybody else. So he's currently got the fastest lap and the points associated with it. Yeah, Battle Cat is flying. That's what a new set of soft compounder tyres will do. That's nine. Actually, that's 9 seconds. Bridges had a mistake, actually. Bridges' last lap was a 44.3. Battle Cat was a 34.3. So while we were sort of watching the Bevo, didn't see a yellow flag come out, but Bridges clearly had a big moment, and he's lost 10 seconds. It's only 3 laps left, so Battle Cat should be right, but yeah, I thought, yeah, Battle Cat was flying, but he definitely wasn't making up 10 seconds. So Bridgie, not sure what happened, but he's gonna have to just put his head down. It's only 2 laps left, but if he makes another mistake like that, Battle Cat is gonna win this race. So Battle Cat, I know you used all his battery as we see the battle for P3. So Aussie gets back past. So if it's gonna be as we think, Bevo may get back past Aussie on lap 27, and then Aussie potentially getting back past on lap 28. That's if Bevo goes for the move next lap. You can see both drivers flashing. Have they purposely turned their ARS off? Gap out the front. 8.6 seconds now. 2 laps left. As Aussie and Bevo round the final corner. So DRS enabled for the Aston Martin. Jerobot still unable to get past Jerobot on his fading mediums. I don't think he even got DRS that lap. No, he didn't. So Jerobot just can't quite get there close enough to get DRS and get a move done. As Bridgie, I think he sort of settled down now. Whatever mistake he's done, he's settled. Battle Cat might have already cooked his tyres after only 3 laps. Oh, and Aussie's he's pushing. He's dropped Bevo out of 1 second. So he wanted to get the move done, and he's flying. And Bevo, unfortunately, he's missed DRS. So the way this is going to work, Bevo's going to have to burn all his battery to get back within DRS if he can. That will leave none for an attack on the final lap. So Aussie may have just played this fantastically. There's 1.1 through turn 12. Yeah, I figured there'd be those softs won't really last. Yeah, I'm having a look. Yeah, his softs are 22% already, and he's only been on them for 3 laps. Softs are useless around this track in terms of a running stint, even at the end. And if you had a late safety car, it might have been better to go on to a medium tire than a soft. That's how badly they wear here. But Bridgie has started the final lap. Bevo did not get DRS, so he's going to have to pull out a hell of a first sector to have any chance of getting a move done at turn 12. But Bridgie, I haven't sort of seen much of him. Paid a little bit of attention to him in the last few laps. May have made a mistake, but he's got plenty of time in hand. Battle Cat, he went for the pit stop, but as I said, Bridgie made a mistake. Could Battle Cat have capitalised and taken the race lead because of it? Won't know until we sort of, hopefully we can get Bridgie in the comms chat afterwards and have a bit of a chat in terms of what actually happened. But Aussie, he's got within a second as Bevo. Problem is, he's probably just too far back. No, he didn't get DRS. Must have had the better run through 10, but not for the activation point. So Bevo's going to have to try something different. Problem is, it's not really an overtaking spot from now to the end of the lap. So I think this is going to stay P3, P4, but we'll switch back to Bridgie. Had a fantastic race, made the right calls at the right time, and it's got to be Bridgie who will take out the Tier 3 race at Coda. Fantastic job from the Ferrari driver. Battle Cat will come across the line. He's currently got the fastest lap. He'll bring home that point, but he finishes on the podium. Great job. Him and Bridgie with the same strategy. Aussie and Bevo, it's going to be close, but it is going to be Aussie on the final step. Bevo did a fantastic job. Stayed out on the same strategy as the top two. Didn't quite have enough pace to hold on to the podium, but fantastic effort nonetheless. Jerobot did get past Paulie in the end for P5. Paulie last to 6th. Good effort from him with the strategy. Paul and will finish in P7 ahead of Dom War, who will finish in P8. King Dog's got a 10-second penalty, which he'll lose out to Deadly Fuller and Dan, unfortunately. So King Dog will drop to 11th, but it'll be well clear Cuds. T8 and A-Dog will be 12, 13, and 14. Nuge has already crossed the line, so he'll at least pick up a point. So all 15 drivers able to finish this race. So good stuff from everybody, especially in the tricky conditions at the start. You can see the positions gained there. F1 Original Paulie up 9. Bevo shared it as well, up 6. Bridgie started on the second row, and he is your race winner. So as we just wait for A-Dog to cross the line, he does just that. So great racing. Good battle at the end for P3. Not anything real in terms of side-by-side action, but intrigue was there till the last lap. Unfortunately, Bevo, whether he made a mistake on that second last lap, dropped a second, dropped out of DRS, and unfortunately could get back in it, but just a little bit too late. But Bridgie did nothing wrong. He stands on the top step of the podium alongside Battlecat and Aussie. So as we have a look at our provisional results for tonight's race, Bridgie, Battlecat, Aussie, your top 3. Bevo, Jerabop, Paulie, F1 Original Paulie in P6, Paul and L in P7, Dom Moore in 8th, Dan the Racer in 9th, rounding out our top 10. King Dogger in P11, Cuds in P12, T8 in 13th, A-Dog in 14th, and Nudes a lap down, but still finishing and claims 1 point for RB. So driver of the day by the game was F1 Original Paulie. Fastest lap went to the Battlecat with a 134.302. So we'll jump into the comms box because I want to have a chat to a couple of these guys if we can. I'll get into the podium interviews here. But solid race. Weather conditions made it interesting. Jerabot, I wouldn't say you bottled, but yeah, you just went 3 laps too early. It looked like it was drying out quite quick, but yeah, clearly those hard compounded tyres just were not the go, unfortunately. So that unfortunately dropped you back quite a bit. So unfortunate for you, but you still managed to recover nicely in P5. And good points for Sauber as well. So as we just wait to have a bit of a chat with our top 3. But as I said, last race at Coda. Been good round at Coda this week. Couple of incidents though, so stewards I think might be a little bit busy. Maybe not for this race, but for the opening 2 races. But then we head to Japan next week for Suzuka round 8. So tier 1 will be Monday night, 7:30 Australian Eastern. I believe still daylight time. That's ending shortly, so we'll obviously adjust that. In the meantime, we do have 2 of our top 3 in, so we'll get ready. We'll have a bit of a chat to Parallel Aussie. Aussie, great drive. Great battle that you sort of had the end with Bevo there. Started on pole. Just talk us through that race. Obviously got wet very quickly. Sort of a couple of guys nailed sort of the inters, and I think unfortunately you were one of the guys that just jumped onto the back onto the dries a little bit too early. But good recovery and a great P3 for you.
Too long. We lost a fair bit of time to Jerobot and whoever else is at the front of the time. I think Bridgie and stuff. The second time around, I thought, oh, Joe Brott knows what he's doing, so I saw him dive into the pits the second time. I thought, oh yeah, I'll follow him, and that was the terrible decision as well. Probably like 3 or 4 laps too early, and as soon as I turned off the pit limiter, there was like no grip straight away. I almost spun straight into the pit wall. Just had to survive, tiptoeing around for like 3 or 4 laps before the tyres eventually got in the right window.
So obviously,
once they did, more fast.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask, did you sort of make any sort of tweaks to the setup, knowing that there was a little bit of rain, or did you know that it was only going to be sort of a short stint in that middle part, and you sort of kept the same setup?
I just kept the same stand setup. I feel like I was probably running. I know it's a pretty high downforce track, but in the S section in particular as well, it seemed like I was getting a lot of time on most people, so maybe I was running even more, or just more confident through the first sector. Getting like 3 or 4 attempts on a fair few people through there, but with the high downforce setup.
Yeah, well, besides sort of the little incident, pace seemed good from yourself, and a good battle with Bella at the end. Japan next week, obviously sort of completely different to what Coda is, a lot more technical. Obviously, you've got the figure of 8. Similar S sections, curbs can be quite deadly, especially in that first sector. How are you feeling for next Wednesday night?
I love Suzuka, it's one of my favourite tracks. I don't think I've had the results to back that up yet there. We'll see if we can turn it around next week.
Yeah, let's hope so. But big congratulations, P3, and look forward to see what you can do next week.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you, man.
All right, and we'll have a chat to our P2 Battle Cat. You were the one that made the right call with staying on the inters a little bit longer. Hugh and Bridgie, right call. Just didn't quite have the pace to catch Bridgie. Made a quick stop for softs at the end, but yeah, fastest lap from yourself. But P2, fantastic result from yourself.
Yeah, thanks, Scotty. I really wasn't expecting much for this race. I've literally had 15 minutes practice and spun every lap, so really was expecting to DNF. But yeah, it just kept coming to me, and then yeah, when it was starting to rain, I remembered it was sort of late. It was going to stop late, so I just stayed out until the DRS came out and pitted at that time. It looks like we gained a whole pit stop, so that was definitely the right call. Yeah, trying to catch Bridgie. I think I almost got in his DRS, and then he just took off. Maybe the meds wasn't the right call, but yeah, just gave it a shot, and then came in for the softs and fastest lap and got a few extra points there. So yeah, pretty happy with the podium. Like I said, I wasn't expecting it at all.
Yeah, we did actually see. I think it seemed Bridgie made a little bit of a mistake. Were you sort of regretting when you found out that you sort of closed up 10 seconds that, oh, maybe I should have tried to stay out to do it, but obviously you can't sort of ever guess that he was ever going to do that?
Yeah, he was pulling away from me, so I was like, look, I'm not going to catch him unless he does a mistake, but look, I'll go in for the extra 2 points. And then I was really concentrating on that fast lap, and then I looked up and I was only 9 seconds behind. I'm like, how am I catching him so quickly? And then I put 2 and 2 together, and it's like, yeah, he must have had a mistake. And then it was like, oh, if I'd stayed out, I probably would have overtaken him. But it is what it is. Look, like I said, happy with the P2 and the fastest lap. That'll do me.
Well, great result tonight. We go to Japan next week, and I know that is a little bit of a favourite from yours. Obviously, picking up your first win at Inters around Japan. So, obviously, you must be feeling a little bit confident around there next week.
That was with full traction, Scotty. So
I forgot about that.
This track and yeah, this track and Suzuka is I'm okay with full traction, but I really was expecting to bottle it today in Austin, and I'm expecting to do the same in Japan. So let's see, maybe you know, it'll turn out differently to what I expect, and maybe I'll pick up another podium. But yeah, I'm not confident, that's for sure.
Yeah, well, we'll have to wait and see. But as I said, you put in a hefty performance tonight, and as I said, I thought you might have struggled a little bit in the intermediate conditions, but you did very well with the medium traction, and yeah, bringing home P2. So big congratulations to you, and we'll see what you can do in Japan next week.
Thanks, Scotty.
As we do have our race winner in here now, Bridgie, you made the right calls as well. Fantastic pace and picking up the dub tonight. How are you feeling after that one?
Pretty well, yeah. I've known for this entire season that I have got enough pace to get a win in this tier, but I just haven't been qualifying well, and that's been stuffing up my races pretty bad. So I'm glad to qualify P3 and get that win tonight.
Well, obviously, the biggest talking point from your race is obviously Jerabot came in to go back onto the dries. You decided to stay out. What was your thinking there in sort of making that call? Because Jerabot nailed the intermediate call. Did you feel like it was just a little bit too early for those dries?
Yeah, I felt like it was one lap too early, but in the end, going in that one, like staying out that one extra lap, completely almost stuffed my race. So I'm lucky that I had enough pace in the wet to stay with him. To be fair, I really thought I was going to just that stuff me up, but yeah, it didn't, surprisingly.
Yeah, and then obviously it was pretty much you and Battlecat for that entire second stint. We did see you drop 10 seconds. Was it a little bit of a mistake that you made towards the end there?
Yeah, I made a on the last whatever lap that was. I wasn't really counting the laps, to be fair. I was just trying to race, but yeah, on the very first turn, I just had a big rear snap and tried to get it back, and it took me a little bit to get the car stable, and in the end I just let Raw Dog, who I was right in front of me from lap position, just go so I could try and stabilise, and yeah, I lost almost 10 seconds, so I was lucky I didn't completely lose that and spin out.
Well, at least you managed to recover. Thankfully, Battlecat also boxed as well, but you managed to hold on. Max points for you this evening. Japan next week. How you feeling for that one?
Shit. I'm not expecting much, but as long as I can keep it on the track, I think I should be able to get at least hopefully I'm hoping for a top 5. That's just my goal at the moment, just to qualify well, hope to finish top 5, and Japan is probably close to one of my worst tracks, so yeah, we'll see how that goes when it comes.
Yeah, well, we know how deadly the curbs are, especially in the first sector. So you keep out of trouble, you might find yourself up there. But again, big congratulations on tonight's victory, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you very much. See you then.
All right, and that will just about do us. We'll just have a quick look at our provisional race classification. Bridgie, Battlecat, Aussie were your top 3. Bevo, Jerabot, F1 Original Paulie, VSC Paul and Hill, Don Moore, Dan the Racer, Deadly Fuller, King Dogger, Cuds, T8, A-Dog, and Nudes were your 15 drivers. No DNFs, which is very nice to see. All drivers scoring points. So Bridgie picking up the W, Battlecat picking up the fastest lap of a 34.302, and driver of the day went to F1 Original Paulie, coming from last to, I believe, P6, moving up 9 spots. So great effort from him. He made the right call, staying in on those inters a little bit longer as well, and moved up a lot of ground. So great effort, Tim. Great effort to all the drivers. And a week around Coda comes to an end. A bit chaotic at times, but good racing nonetheless in all tiers as we head over to the east. Japan at Suzuka next week, Monday, 7:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time for Tier 1. Tier 2 Tuesday at 7:30, and then we'll see Tier 3 this time next week. So I've been Scotty. Thank you very much for your company, and then we'll catch you Monday night for Tier 1 action around Japan. So see you then.